Welcome everyone to the Avengenerds podcast, where we talk more about DC, Star Wars, and more. I'm your host Torrent, and with me is my co-host Peyton.
Yo.
Today we were talking about Star Wars in a tier list, as well as the news of the week. There'll be time codes in the description and the show notes you want to jump around. With that, here's Peyton with the news.
Star Wars. We haven't done Star Wars in 10 years.
I know, because every time we talk about it, we have stands. The algorithm is ran by General Grievous and the Empire. So
the Separatists. All right, let's get into the news. We do have some Star Wars news, just a couple pieces. But first, we got the Andor Season 2 trailer. Torrance still hasn't seen Andor, and he refuses to watch it. You did not finish it.
I told you I finished it.
When?
Like months ago.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Peak?
I can't wait for Season 2. Yeah, it's peak.
Favorite episode?
Honestly, dude, it's got to be episode 5. You know, where they're in the crates. I don't know, man. I think that episode had a lot of tension for me, a lot of stakes.
Sure. Well, we'll talk about Andor later. But
no, we won't.
Oh, well, we got the Andor Season 2 trailer. It looks peak as always. The interesting thing about Season 2, if you're not aware, is it's going to be, I believe, 12 episodes, and it's going to be in 3-episode arcs. And each 3-episode arc is a time jump. And then the last arc is going to be right up to the beginning of Rogue One. So, yeah. And also, the release schedule is interesting because it's going to, starting April 22nd, it's going to release 3 episodes each week. So, yeah. So in the whole entire season spans 4 years, with a year passing after every 3 episodes. So it's going to be 4 weeks of presumably straight peak. So it's very exciting. And then this is according to Deadline. Kathleen Kennedy says Sean Levy's Star Wars movie, starring Ryan Gosling, will be set maybe 5 or 6 years after The Rise of Skywalker. I see a bunch of people crying and complaining. It's like, oh, we don't want it to be connected to the Skywalker saga. I don't think it will be. I think she's just saying it's going to be after the events of the sequel trilogy. I don't think it's that deep. Also, I will say that there's been a bunch of stuff about Kathleen Kennedy stepping down from her position as president of Lucasfilm, and she did speak to that. She said that she's been looking for options and successors for the past couple years now, and it is looking like she's going to step down, but it's not looking like, actually, I'm saying it's not looking like, she explicitly said that she's not going to stop like being involved. She's still going to be producing movies and stuff like that. She's just not going to have the role of president of Lucasfilm. And man, the internet was just a really fun time when that news broke. She also said that Taika Waititi's movie is like sort of in limbo because Taika is a very ambiguous figure. It's like sometimes he's working on shit, sometimes he's not. I don't even know what the last thing he did is. Bro's just an enigma. But apparently he is still working on the script, and he's also working with a new writer. So I guess we'll see if that ever comes out, which I doubt it will, to be honest with you. But Torrent, let's move on to some DC news. We got a ridiculous amount of DC news. It was a big couple weeks for DC. Some good, some bad, like usual. Unfortunately, we do have to start out with the really bad. Just like a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how they were rebooting the Wonder Woman game. Well, scratch all that. The Wonder Woman game has been canceled. The Warner Brothers is shutting down numerous studios as well associated with DC, certain DC games and other Warner Brothers games. They are shutting down the studio that was working on the Wonder Woman game, Monolith Productions, which is a huge loss because obviously they're working on the Wonder Woman game, which according to insiders and some people who came out saying that they worked on the game was apparently actually going relatively well. It wasn't like a super trouble production like a lot of the reports seem to suggest. But Monolith Productions, they did the Shadow of Mordor games. Like they're a really great game producer, and now they're just gone. So that's unfortunate. They also shut down Player First Games, who developed Multiverses, and they also shut down Warner Brothers San Diego. Warner Brothers Games says that it will focus on Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones.
Jesus.
So shit's looking grim. It's like, yeah, we're going to focus on DC. Let's cancel and shut down the studio working on a DC game that's presumably going really well. And also, Monolith Studios, they are the ones that came up with, and then Warner Brothers trademark, the Nemesis system. I don't know how that's going to work now, because I'm pretty sure previously Monolith was the only ones allowed to use the Nemesis system. So now I don't know if it's like just I don't know what's going on with that, but really unfortunate stuff. Now it's, I don't know when or if we're ever going to get a Wonder Woman game. Wonder Woman fans are fucking,
they got the worst of the fucking worst, low key.
Yeah, I feel bad for them. We think Superman fans have it bad, but like, yeah, Wonder Woman fans are not. I feel bad for them. Anyway, more bad news. This is according to the Hollywood Reporter. Daniel Craig has dropped out of starring in Luca Guadagnino's Sergeant Rock movie for DC, which was really unfortunate. Apparently, Daniel Craig reportedly dropped out of the film due to scheduling conflicts. However, some say he soured on the role after Queer, his previous film with Luca Guadagnino, failed financially and in the awards season. So, obviously, take each of those with a grain of salt, but Daniel Craig, regardless, is no longer involved in the project, which was really unfortunate. I was looking forward to seeing him in that role. But apparently they seem to be going, now that he's dropped out, they seem to be going for maybe a younger actor. Jeremy Allen White is one of the names that has been making the rounds, potentially to star. I don't know. It's unfortunate. James Gunn's fumbling, bro. What is he doing?
I know. Zack Snyder could never.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Hashtag
Restore the Snyderverse.
Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse, bro. Get that James Gunn shit out of here. This is also according to the Hollywood Reporter. James Watkins, who just directed the new Speak No Evil film, is now set to direct Clayface. That's a pretty big get. And it sounds like Clayface is going to be a really interesting film. So that's great. James Gunn also confirmed that a Teen Titans movie is in the works. We've heard that rumored for a while now, but now he himself officially confirmed it, along with the fact that the writer of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is also working on that script. James Gunn also said he's now, quote, working very closely with the writer on Batman's The Brave and the Bold movie. And according to Screen Rant, Andy Muschietti is not involved with the development of The Brave and the Bold, and the script will be shown to him after completion, which will lead to the final decision on who will direct the film. So Andy Muschietti is not 100% locked in, which has made a lot of people very happy. DC has also announced a bunch of other series, like a Starfire animated series has been revealed. The series will serve as an origin story for the character. I do believe that this animated series is not part of the DCU, so I don't think it'll connect to like the Teen Titans film, but I'm interested to see what that's going to be like. A Green Lantern series titled My Adventures with Green Lantern has been revealed. The series is going to follow Jessica Cruz, who has her life upended when a Green Lantern power ring falls from the sky. And as the title suggests, it does take place in the same universe as My Adventures with Superman. So that's really exciting.
Very cool for them to focus on a different Lantern. We don't really get a lot of Jessica Cruz stuff. Yeah,
it's always Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
It's always Hal, yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
for that. Making
it woke.
Jesus.
But I'm also really happy that they're focusing on this universe.
Yeah.
My Adventures with Superman has been really great. The latest season was really great, although I didn't love how it ended. But obviously we're going to get another season of that. And I want them to expand that universe more. I think that'd be really great. And instead we can have that instead of really shitty DC animated movies. Anyway, according to the Hollywood Reporter, James Gunn himself has been pretty open about certain DC projects and said that the following DC projects have had problems in development. The Waller series, which obviously would follow Amanda Waller, still haven't cracked the scripts yet for that. Booster Gold, a showrunner almost joined but lost interest. And The Authority, he said, quote, the script had a harder time coming along than anticipated. So Though I like that he's being open about it instead of just being like, shit's canceled, or just like really just pushing ahead without any real idea of what's happening. So I also feel like he was probably pressured to make announcements he maybe wasn't fully ready to commit to when he took over DC, because obviously people were expecting like, oh, what's the plan? And I feel like this is stuff he obviously wanted to do, but like wasn't 100% confident he could get going, but had to announce him anyway. But is what it is. Let's move on to some Marvel news. So this was an interview with Phase Hero podcast. Captain America Brave New World director Julius Ona says the film did not go through multiple reshoots. He said, quote, "We only did one period of additional photography, which is the same on all of these films." All due respect to director Julius Ona, I don't fucking believe you. I mean, we watched the movie. We followed its production. I don't know about that one. I mean, I don't know. But according to the Wrap, Julius Ona confirms that the post-credit scene, this is fucking ridiculous. The post-credit scene, spoilers for Captain America Brave New World, by the way. Julius Ona confirms that the post-credit scene of Captain America Brave New World is teasing the Illuminati. The group was featured in an early draft of the film. In what universe did that post-credit scene tease the Illuminati?
If he wanted to tease the Illuminati, he should have just name dropped them.
Yeah, or like, yeah, like say like, oh, the Illuminati, or like, but he literally, doesn't he specify like different worlds?
Yeah,
he was talking about, see, what? The Illuminati, the Illumawati? Mm-hmm. I don't know what bro's talking about. I don't think he watched his own. I don't think he, the rumors about him like not directing some of it has to be fucking true or something, because I don't know. Like, maybe I'm misremembering it. I'd have to watch the fucking post-credit scene again. But I can't think of a single... I can't see how this post-credit scene at all referenced the Illuminati. But oh well, I guess. Anyway, this is according to Deadline. Marvel has paused development on 3 TV shows, including Nova, which is really unfortunate. Yeah, Terror Inc., which I didn't even know fucking existed, and Strange Academy, which was expected to focus on Wong and also, I believe, include America Chavez.
America Chavez and Madison. Thank you.
Madison,
like one of the best characters in the MCU.
True. But Marvel has paused development on those 3 shows. They did specify that doesn't mean they're canceled. It just means that they're, not putting all their focus on it, which I think is actually a good sign. Marvel also says that there are plans for Moon Knight to return to the MCU, but not for a Moon Knight season 2. Mm-hmm. Which I think fucking sucks. Marvel Television head Brand Winterbaum said, quote, "So I think Marvel Television has happened in waves, and I think Moon Knight happened in a wave of shows that were going to establish characters that would tie into the future. And moving forward, our priorities have shifted. We're making shows that can exist as annual releases, more like actual television. I would love to see a Moon Knight season 2, but there are plans for Moon Knight down the road." So, I mean, ultimately, this is a good thing, and he's right. It has happened in a wave, that first wave being essentially like a 6-hour movie, and not in a good way. And clearly they have shifted their focus, especially mainly with Born Again, starting out with shows that, or actual fucking shows. And, they're filming Born Again season 2 right now. That's going to release next year. We know that next year, we just got Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We're getting season 2 next year, and we're going to get presumably season 3 the year after. They're actually producing these things as it should be. And I also feel like we're also getting a shift just generally in the media landscape with television, where I think studios are getting the message that audiences are fucking tired of waiting 3 years or more for a new season of television that's only going to last like 8 episodes. Yeah. Because we know, like, for Invincible, for example, like, I think Robert Kirkman literally said, like, yeah, we're going to start actually like fucking pumping these out instead of having to wait over a year. And even in these seasons, there's like months gap in between each half of the season. It's a bunch of bullshit. And it seems like we're actually starting to get regular television again, which is exciting. It is unfortunate that Moon Knight isn't going to have a season 2, at least for the foreseeable future, because I really liked Moon Knight. And if they're going into this like regular television direction, especially, opening the doors to stuff like Daredevil Born Again and having that sort of tone, I think a Moon Knight season 2 could really, really work if given, the time to actually develop the story they need to tell. Which they should have done in season 1, but he said that it's clear what's happening and what happened in the past with these shows, but it is what it is. But speaking of Daredevil, Torn, according to comicbook.com, a Punisher special presentation is in the works at Marvel Studios, and according to Entertainment Weekly, John Bernthal will be co-writing the Punisher special for Marvel Studios. Ronaldo Marcus Green, who did King Richard, is set to direct and is described as a shotgun blast of a story, but also has all the pathos and emotion.
They're cooking.
They are cooking, bro. I'm actually really excited for that. I watched the first season of The Punisher, didn't watch season 2 because I lost interest.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you didn't.
No. I didn't see season 2. But I think for Punisher, I think a special presentation could really work for that character. So I'm really excited about that. And John Bernthal, I think it's been clear for the years he's been the Punisher, and in interviews and stuff, he does genuinely give a shit about this character. And I think him co-writing it is a really good sign, and I think he's going to do it justice. I think this is good news. But that is the news of the week, which means it's time to move on to our topic, which is doing a Star Wars tier list. All right, so Star Wars tier list. We're going to do some ground rules. Number 1, you're going to hear me clicking. For the people listening, you're going to hear me clicking around and stuff. But we're going to do this mostly in release order. I think there's some of the stuff down here that's I'm not 100% sure is in release order, but I don't know, man. But we're going to do this in release order. And also for some of these shows like the Clone Wars and like the Mandalorian and stuff that have multiple seasons, we're just going to take them as they are as a whole show. Because if we had to do it season by season, we would be here for 1,000 years doing each season of the Clone Wars. So we're not going to do that. So, Leanne, let's get started toward A New Hope. What are we thinking?
Definitely D tier.
I have to agree. Unfortunately, just not very good. No. I feel like the initial. Like it's like, oh, S tier.
No,
because it's the first one. But I'm gonna say B tier.
B tier. B tier, yeah.
I was thinking A tier. Why B tier?
Why B tier? I just haven't seen it in a while.
What? That can't be your reason.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, dude. So B. No, I'm kidding.
My only issue with this movie is that I think it's a little bit boring. I mean, that's
just a tiny bit.
Yeah, it just was a little bit boring, which is the fault of the film. I mean, it's different time and stuff.
Yeah.
But like obviously for the time, this is fucking spectacular.
Most definitely.
But I love anytime I watch this movie, I'm always thrilled by the world building they managed to put into this movie without any real idea that sequels would be made. Like talking about the Clone Wars and shit, like off rip, not knowing what that would become. I always love that aspect. Seeing Darth Vader come in being low-key kind of sassy. It's really funny to me. But yeah, obviously this set the groundwork for everything. Let's put it in A. Empire Strikes Back, Torn.
S.
Obviously.
S.
Obviously, it has to be
one of the greatest sequels of all time. One of the best plot twists of all time. Great fucking story. Great visuals. Great tension. Lots of high stakes. What could you not like about this movie, bro?
This is the original Star Wars trilogy is one of those things, because obviously we grew up with the prequels. It's one of those things. It's like, man, I really wish I didn't know Darth Vader was Luke's father.
Yeah.
Like imagine not knowing that. I asked my dad one day. I was like, you watched that shit like as it came out because you're ancient. So like, what was that like? And he was like, it was pretty crazy. And I was like, must be nice. But yeah, obviously Empire is phenomenal. If we didn't put in an S tier, I think we'd be on crack. Just it like you said, it's one of the best sequels of all time. It's everything a sequel should be, and it's also, along with the first one, but also Empire, a lot has been it's been replicated, and the influences are very clear in other pieces of media. Like, it's just awesome. Return of the Jedi, Torn.
Return of the Jedi.
You know what my problem with Return of the Jedi is?
What?
It's the Ewoks. No, not really. I mean, technically, partially. All the stuff on Andor, I don't really give a shit about. Anytime it cuts back to Luke and Vader and the Emperor, I'm like, holy shit, I'm fucking locked in. That's some of the best Star Wars there is. But then it cuts back to all the shit on Andor, and I'm just like, I don't care.
I think it should be like A.
With the original Star Wars, I was thinking B. I'll put it A.
Yeah,
I'll put it A because I do love the Luke Vader stuff a lot.
As you should, King.
Pardon?
As you should.
What's that a reference to? Want to explain?
I'm just calling you King, bro.
Yeah, but why? What's that from?
Because you're a king.
Uh-huh.
Are you not a king?
Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Fucking D, bro.
I'm 100% with you. It's not quite F. It could be worse.
Yeah.
But not good.
No.
I stand by that the biggest crime this movie has is that it's just so fucking boring.
Yeah.
I generally like the story being told on paper, but in execution, just unfortunately not very good. So yeah, D tier. Although we do get Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's fun.
Yeah, and we get
Liam
Darth
Neeson's.
Maul. Surprised Liam Neeson didn't drop the N-word in that film, bro.
Bro, he was tempted. I actually think George Lucas had to cut some of them out.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Too bad. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Oh, it's like I want to put it in F, but it's not that bad.
Yeah,
Probably
if you
D.
asked me 2 years ago, this would have been an F.
D as well.
Yeah, I think it's literally everything other than the Camino shit with Obi-Wan.
I honestly, the highlight of that film for me is Jango Fett dying.
Getting his head cut off.
Yeah, it's the only part that I could really just full on remember. And
Yeah,
I also like some of the Count Dooku stuff in there too.
Oh yeah,
That was pretty cool.
but yeah, everything. Anytime Obi-Wan's on screen, I'm like, I'm on board. This movie's actually pretty good. And then you get this shit with Anakin and Padme, and it's like, this is the biggest piece of dog shit. If it wasn't for all the Obi-Wan stuff, this would be an easy F tier. But all the Obi-Wan stuff really saves it. It also has the best joke in all of the movies. So when Obi-Wan gets captured and Anakin and Padme try to save him, and he's all tied up, and they bring him in all chained up, and Obi-Wan's like, what are you doing here? And Anakin's like, saving you. And he looks up, he's like, good job. Oh, it's good. Torn. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
S.
Unfortunately, I do have to agree with you. And I say unfortunately because objectively I do not think it's S, but the nostalgia factor is too strong.
I know that shit is strong as fuck.
It's unfortunately peak. I love it to death. I will always love it. It's just the memes alone. I mean, come on. Does this need explanation? I know people. I mean, this is one of those things. It's like, obviously we all agree it's an S, but we're also in an era if we put it any lower, people get fucking pissed. Like, objectively, probably a C, at best a B, but it's an S, obviously. Torrin.
What?
Star Wars: The Clone Wars film.
Oh, film?
Yeah.
D. Maybe even F.
Whoa, F?
Yeah.
Some people do consider it the worst Star Wars movie. I don't know if I can put it in F. The animation's pretty bad, but we get the introduction to Ahsoka. And we also get fucking, what's his name? Jabba the Hutt's son, who's gonna be in The Mandalorian and Grogu, played by Jeremy Allen White.
What is his name, like Rhoda?
Yeah, Rada the Hutt. Yeah,
Rada.
And I think for that we got to put it in D, right? We get Jeremy. If it wasn't for this movie, we wouldn't have Jeremy Allen White as Rada the Hutt. I think it only makes sense to put it in D tier just for that alone. Look, man, I don't make the rules. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the show.
S.
I pose to you why.
Lowest I'll give it is an A.
I'm inclined to put it in A because quite a bit of it is pretty rough.
Yeah, like I said, like
but when it's good, it's the best Star Wars there is.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I wouldn't disagree if it was an A, because there are like.
Yeah, if we were doing this season by season, there'd be seasons that are clearly in S tier, no doubt about it. But if we were talking about like seasons 1 to 3, yeesh.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna have to put in an A tier. I will say though, for anyone that is like, man, that should be an S tier, in my opinion, the Siege of Mandalore arc, if that was like, if they because obviously like the Clone Wars movie is clearly just like 4 episodes of the show that they mashed into a movie. If they took the Siege of Mandalore arc, mashed that into a movie, it would be easily my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. Like, by far. I love that shit so much. That is peak fiction. But unfortunately, we got to take it as a whole, and we got to put an A. Next, we have Star Wars Rebels. Torrin must abstain.
Rebels?
Yeah, you have to abstain.
From what I've heard, I mean, you talk highly of it. So I'm going to say, like, based off your word alone, are you gonna put in an A?
I thought about it.
You thought about it?
But it's 4 seasons, and similarly to the Clone Wars, that first season is not great. I love the cast. I, for the most part, love the characters. It has the main villain is Thrawn, and he's incredible in it. Maul plays a pretty big role in it, and he is phenomenal in it. It expands the Star Wars lore in a lot of really fun and interesting ways. It's a really, really great show, and it's massively underrated. A lot of people skip it just because of the art style, which I find really annoying. And it's not a great art style, especially for, well, it's a fine art style. It's just for some of the returning characters, it looks jarring. But part of me feels like I have to put it in B. I really, really enjoy it. But a lot of it is, especially those first 2 seasons, I think really bring it down. Those last 2 seasons, though, again, similar to Clone Wars, S tier. If anyone's seen it, that shit's S tier by far. There's some, oh my god, it gets some shit with Vader and Ahsoka. That's, again, some of the best content you'll see in Star Wars. Just phenomenal stuff. But again, gotta take it as a whole. I'm putting it in B tier. Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
It is a New Hope remastered.
So you gotta put it in A.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I think this movie is a ton of fun.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies, like, as time has gone on, because the hatred for the sequel trilogy has gotten so large. People have like retroactively been like, actually, The Force Awakens sucks and everyone hates it. It's like, no, when the movie came out, it was pretty widely accepted to be a pretty damn good movie and a great return to the franchise. And I think people have just turned on it for one reason or another. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's a great introduction to these new characters. Following Finn as a stormtrooper, I think is really fantastic. And yeah, like you said, and like I say a lot, it is a New Hope remastered. Follows a lot of the same beats. They play it really safe. But I don't know, man. I have a lot of fun with it. Also, it looks phenomenal.
It does look phenomenal. It also has really great character moments from Finn, Kylo Ren, even Han Solo as well.
That's not how the Force works.
I know Harrison Ford was dreading to be on set.
Actually, he seemed to enjoy himself.
Yeah, because he finally because he finally fucking dies, and he's like, oh, finally.
Yeah, you're right. Although I will say, I think as he's gotten older, he's gotten softer on Star Wars. he sees stuff to anytime he talks about, or maybe it's since Carrie Fisher died, he's been.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but anytime he's asked, he's been nicer about it. Really, I think even Mark Hamill said it's like, it's not that he hates Star Wars. He just hates being asked questions about like the lore and shit because he doesn't give a shit. He's like, who shot first, Han Solo or Greedo? He's like, I don't care. But if you ask him like, how'd you feel preparing for the role of Han Solo and acting against Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill? I think he'd be like really happy to answer that question. Just depends the question you fucking ask him. Anyway, Rogue One, probably the best looking Star Wars movie.
Rogue One, that's the S.
Torn. If you asked me to rank this like 2-3 years ago, I would have been like, it's a good movie, but it's not S. But as time has gone on, that shit's S, bro.
Yes.
That shit's S, bro. Best looking Star Wars movie. I always, my go-to answer for this movie whenever I was asked about it is like, oh man, that the first act or two is like really boring, and then it really steps it up in the third act. And the first act is it is slow, but it really picks up in that second act, and I think it's really, really great. And I'm expecting Andor season 2 to only bolster this film. I'm hoping that Andor season 2 just makes this movie better, and it's already S tier. So I don't know if it'll be like best Star Wars ever created, but yeah, we're in agreement. Obviously that Darth Vader shit at the end, bro.
Oh my god, dude.
Will always be famous.
Bro, I can't. I still remember watching that film in theaters because I had bought tickets for, it wasn't IMAX, it was AVX. Unfortunately, like for some reason the AVX speakers, like they weren't the best that day, but still I just remember like the audience reaction of Darth Vader showing up and everyone was just like cheering. I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah, I remember seeing that shit in theaters. My mouth was just agape.
But the visuals, man, it's just
stunning.
So good. There was one part that scared the shit out of me, but we won't get into that.
Oh yeah. Poor gullet.
I don't know why. I don't know who the fuck added that, bro.
I really the Darth Vader shit, I think it's because like it was so, a lot of people are like, okay, we get it, like, oh, the Darth Vader scene, but like you got to understand, like before this we had the original trilogy, which as great as it is, a lot of the action is very slow and stilted and stiff, and obviously the prequels we don't get Darth Vader action. And like we get some in the animated shows, but it's not the same as seeing it in live action. This is the first time we saw Darth Vader in live action doing the things that like we imagined as kids. You know what I mean? It's like so seeing that on screen, just him absolutely wrecking motherfuckers was awesome. I actually saw a tweet the other day it was very, very, very overwhelmingly agreed upon praise for Disney Star Wars. It was like the tweet said, like, say what you will about Disney Star Wars, but the way they've handled Darth Vader has been really, really great. And I think that's true. Like, Star Wars has always been hit or miss, and I'm always gonna be annoyed when people bring up Disney Star Wars as if it wasn't also kind of lackluster before that. But yeah, the way Disney's handled Darth Vader has been really phenomenal. Obviously we're going to get into it more when we get into some of this other stuff that Darth Vader's been in. But yeah, starting with Rogue One, it's just been peak. Torn. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Now, this is very controversial, especially since you like The Last Jedi more than most people. For me, I'm kind of, like ever since you gave me your perspective, I've disliked it less. I think for me personally, I would put it in C.
C is crazy.
I feel like C is like fair because it's not a D and it's not definitely not an F. But it's also like,
when's the last time you've seen it?
Like, I've seen it like a couple years ago, definitely during the pandemic for sure.
C is nuts, bro.
What do you mean by C is nuts? I feel like
we have to compromise here because I would put it in S.
No, bro. No, bro. That is
I'm not saying we're putting it in S because we have to compromise. I'm just saying if it was just my tier list, I would put it in S.
I feel like C is like probably one of the biggest compromises.
How is C the compromise?
Because dude, it's like mid, bro.
It's not though. It's phenomenal.
Bro, are you gonna put it in B? It's not A, bro. Don't put it in A.
But it's better than The Force Awakens.
It is.
Fine, I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B.
Okay. We'll compromise on B because
this is bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
This is bullshit.
Bro.
It's fucking S tier. It's the best Star Wars movie since Empire.
I will say it's bold and it takes risk. It takes a risk. I agree. I definitely say that.
Mark Hamill's best performance. Phenomenal third act.
All right.
I hate it here.
Jesus. You ready? What's the next one?
2018 Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh shit, that's in fucking D, bro.
D?
Maybe C.
I was thinking C. It's not terrible, like because we have episode 2
mid.
in D. Like, it's not episode 2.
It's mid as fuck.
It is mid as fuck. I'm putting it in C. I think that makes the most sense.
All right. Next.
Well, hold on now.
Next. What else is there to talk about the movie, bro?
It's Donald Glover.
We already know, bro. He's beyond it.
That he's peak?
Yeah.
Best part of the movie.
Yeah, he is the best part of the movie.
And you got random ass Paul Bettany showing up.
Yeah.
And Carly Morgenthau from Falcon and Winter Soldier's there. She's all like, look at me, I'm a resistance leader or something. Or no, she's part of the rebellion because she's like starts the rebellion or some fucking shit. I don't remember. Woody Harrelson's in it. The Rise of Skywalker, Torrent.
Fucking F.
F?
Shit sucks, bro.
All right, hear me out.
Oh my god.
Hear me out. It's
highest
bad.
I'll give it as a D. Highest I'll give it as a D.
No, it's bad, but I don't know if it's Clone Wars Episode 2 bad.
It's just it's
or not. I'm sorry.
bro.
I'm not saying it. I'm saying it's not worse than that. Is what I'm saying. Because like, at least it looks good. There's some fun moments. I can't think of them right now, but there's some fun moments.
I can't think of that shit, bro. I remember the first. All I can think is that the first 10 minutes of the film were just cut so fucking sharp that like it was so fast paced I couldn't even keep up.
Yeah, it's 2 movies smashed into one. Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Just unfortunate.
Very.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all this has been talked to death. Part of me, I can put it in F. I'm not married to it being higher than that. Next, we got The Mandalorian.
The whole show?
Yeah, the whole show.
I heard season 3 was bad.
I had a lot of fun with it. It is the worst season though, but I don't think it's as bad as people say.
But season 1 and 2 carry hard.
Season 1 I think is really great. Season 2 I think is worse because it tries to tie itself into stuff, and I kind of wish it just was its own thing. And then season 3 does go a bit off the rails, and then also there's like backdoor pilots and shit that I don't love. I think unfortunately as a show, I was thinking B.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just, I really like it, and I'm excited for the movie.
See, I haven't seen season 3. That I'm saying this is what I heard.
It's just like once I think it's like, especially visually, like once they lost Greg Fraser.
Oh yeah.
The visuals sort of took a little bit of a nosedive. I mean, it's still a good looking show, especially compared to a lot of the other stuff that try to use the volume. But after like season 1 was easily the best looking, and there was still that like sense of like mystery and stuff, and Pedro Pascal was actually on set. But it is what it is. Next we got The Bad Batch.
I haven't seen it. It's all you.
Yes, this is all me. It started off, I didn't love it, although the first episode was actually really fucking great. But then it went in a direction I didn't really love, and then season 2 picked it back up by quite a bit, and it did a lot of interesting things. Unfortunately, just generally, I don't really give a shit about the characters that much of The Bad Batch, but I can't like I'm trying to think about this, like trying to think about the merit of it. Am I being like, oh, I don't like the character, so I put it lower, or objectively like it's a pretty good series, so I put it. I'm thinking B or C, and I don't know what to do. Torm, what do? Flip a coin.
C.
All right. Ahsoka. Yeah.
I haven't seen it. It's all you.
Yes, there's a lot of modern Star Wars stuff you haven't seen. So Ahsoka, kind of similar to a lot of Star Wars stuff. Again, it doesn't start off the best. I guess it just starts off in a way you don't really want to. I think my biggest complaint about this show is the way it feels. I don't know if it's because of the directors they have or the stunt and fight coordinators, but fuck, man, the fight scenes are lacking, except the fight with Anakin / Darth Vader. That stuff was really great. It's like they put all their energy and time into that fight, and then everything else they were just like, eh. We are getting a season 2. I think the way season 1 ends really sets up season 2 to be really, really great. So I'm excited for that, but maybe it'll be higher once season 2 comes out. But as of recording, I'm gonna have to put it in C. Tor, next we got Andor.
S.
100%.
Put that shit in S.
Some would say the best Star Wars we've ever gotten, period. It's phenomenal. It's just such a well-made show. It's a show that, like, I think it may be the only Star Wars project that you could recommend to someone who doesn't like Star Wars or has never seen Star Wars and be like, you can still watch this and not be lost or confused.
Yeah.
Because it's just a good show. And again, season 2 is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I
saw that. I think
even season 2 is somehow bad. It's still going to be an S tier.
For sure.
And at worst, this season 2 will be like okay. But yeah, just a phenomenal show. And it's such a massive surprise too. I remember when this shit was announced, like we're getting an Andor series, and everyone was like, okay, I guess. Like the guy from Rogue One, like, okay, we couldn't get like a fucking Jyn Erso series or something like that. We're gonna do something with Rogue One. We're getting an Andor series about Cassian who gives a shit. and then it turns out to be the best thing anyone's ever seen. So
like oh my god, I'm sorry, Andor, I was not familiar with your.
Yeah, it's like it comes back to the thing. It's like, oh, who asked for this? It's like, you don't have to ask for it. Sometimes fans don't know what they want until they get it. And next we have actually the Book of Boba Fett. Shit's F2. Oh no. It's if anyone wants to hear my unfiltered thoughts about the Book of Boba Fett, on my channel I took my 15-minute rant back when it was coming out. I took my 15-minute rant, just posted it. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/it's Zenith. It's in the description. But woof, man, this show, it's interesting because I think even in my rant, like as it was coming out, I was like, there's stuff in this, there's stuff in this I like, and that still rings true. There is stuff in this I like, but it's more like the concepts I enjoy rather than the actual execution still. So it's like even the stuff that I like generally enjoyed, it's still like, I guess what I'm saying, like, this show got worse when Andor came out. It's like, this is what we can be getting, and you put out the Book of Boba Fett, this garbage. Holy shit. I've never, like, I've always, Star Wars has been a franchise for me, sort of similar to the MCU, where it's like, even the bad stuff, I can find stuff to enjoy. Like, we put The Rise of Skywalker in S tier, but I can find enjoyment in it. The Book of Boba Fett is the first Star Wars project I have actively disliked at almost all points. Just a complete pile of trash.
And it also doesn't help for me. Like, I'm not a fan of Boba Fett. Like, I never saw the appeal for him.
Me neither.
Like, and so, and like, you know, I've never, like, I mean, I was very curious about the show because I'm like, you know, what could they do to make Boba Fett, like, you know, good? And this show kind of just furthers, it drives the point that, hey, this motherfucker is so trash. I will never like him. He doesn't appeal to me. I am more power to you that if you like Boba Fett, you think he's cool, whatever. I just don't give a shit about him. They butcher the fuck out of his character. There's a lot of things that they just, I feel like could have been done way differently in the show. You know, they made Boba Fett into this like leader king thing, but I just don't see that in his character at all. But, you know, the one highlight was, you know, obviously you have the Mandalorian showing up, and he fucking
those two Mandalorian
dominates the absolute fuck out of the show. And then that's fucking crazy. You know, how you gonna let another character from a show dominate your shit, bro?
It's like the episode was like called like The Return of the Mandalorian or whatever, and it's like immediately the amount of sauce that man has compared to Boba Fett was palpable. I was like, holy shit. Like, the way like the show was just cheeks, and then Mando shows up and I'm immediately locked in.
You know, yeah, I know. I think the best part, besides the Mandalorian stuff, the best part of that show was when the guy did the light skin 360. Fucking shit.
I hate this shit, man. I every now and again I see someone online trying to defend that shit, and I'm like, I don't know what you're
that
on.
Shit is so funny, bro.
As a Disney Star Wars apologist, no, man, defend something else. Defend something else, man.
It's so funny.
There's no arguing for this one. It's the biggest piece of dog shit. Easily the worst thing they've ever put out. Horrible. And it's like I feel so bad for Tamara Morrison.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because like he's a phenomenal actor. He really is, and he obviously loves the characters he's played. But I don't know what they were thinking with this, and this is just my opinion, obviously. But
fucking Robert Rodriguez.
Hey, bro, Robert Rodriguez, he goated, bro.
not in Star Wars.
That's what the Robert Rodriguez is the reason we have the 360 spin shot, bro.
Oh my god,
that's the reason why. Like, that's fucking peak, bro. Hey, you know, I actually put the Book of Boba Fett in C tier just for that, bro.
Hell no, I'd rather die before doing that. If we put Boba Fett in C tier, we're moving The Last Jedi to S. That's the rules. Dog shit show. Dog shit character. And like you were saying, like I never understood the appeal to Boba Fett. It's like, oh, Boba Fett's so cool because he stands around for a second in the original trilogy and he gets fucking taken out by a blind Han Solo. Yeah, this really cool character. And it's like he's not obviously not in the prequel trilogy. I mean, he is, but like he's a kid, and it's like Jango Fett's cool. I fuck with Jango Fett, but Boba Fett, that motherfucker's ass. And it's like they redeemed him for a second because he shows up in Mando season 2 and he's actually cool. But then, yeah, they just fumbled this show, man. They just fumbled this show. I can't. Let's move on. Torn,
what's up?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Now, this is also another controversial one because both me and you like the show, and
we really like this show.
And you know, and when it comes to Star Wars fans, you know, if you don't like anything that's, you know, not the prequels, like you're a piece of shit. And
a lot of people hate this show. I mean, hey, it's not perfect.
It's definitely not perfect, and I think, you know, we have talked about this, is that like it does get ruined by it having, what is it, like 6 episodes as well?
Mm-hmm.
6. Yeah, I do believe that the show should have been, you know, longer.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. I mean, I was alluding to earlier how Disney's handled the Darth Vader stuff really well, and the Darth Vader stuff in this is incredible. I really, as people were shitting on her for, I think no reason, but the Lil Leia, I thought was delightful. Like, there was some stuff like on Alderaan that wasn't incredible, but I think for the most part, I think this show was really, really great. And I maintain that the rematch between Obi-Wan and Anakin at the end was just as good, at the very least, just as good as the episode 3 fight.
But I think for me, when it comes to Obi-Wan and the entire scale of it, I think the absolute highest should be B. What do you think?
I'm happy with a B.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say The Last Jedi is better than Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, that's just me, I guess. Now we move on to some stuff that is relegated to me because Torn hasn't seen it. The Acolyte.
I'm hearing, from what I've seen, the fight choreography looks fucking phenomenal.
It's incredible,
that shit looks crazy. Shit, I might have to watch After Severance, low key.
No, you're gonna watch Mythic Quest After Severance.
No, I'm not watching Mythic Quest.
Why not?
I could.
You're not watching The Acolyte.
You want to watch Star Wars?
Bro, there's no fucking point. They canceled this shit. Who gives a fuck? Just watch some clips online. I'm so fucking sad about it. There's absolutely no reason for this to be canceled. Meanwhile, they keep some of this other stuff. In my opinion, it's at the very least a C. And that's with Ahsoka. And Ahsoka's getting a season 2. I think it's bullshit. I think, and now, like, I am an Acolyte apologist, but I'm not saying like it's like this fucking phenomenal series. Like, when it was announced, this was my most anticipated series because it was in a new era. It was going to do with the Sith and stuff like that. The concept, the elevator pitch, I loved, but unfortunately, like, the first half of the season was not delivering on what I had hoped. But, you know, after, you know, the series finished and stuff, after it culminated and after I had some time with it, you know, I have to take the series as it is, not how I hoped it would be. And it was good. It set up a lot of decent mystery. The cast was really fucking great. Like we said, the choreography was awesome. I think it could have been a lot better, but I also don't think it was bad by any means, and I think it really deserves a season 2, but obviously I don't fucking make those decisions. But I think I'm gonna put it in C. But like, I'm not doing like this is like high C and like low B and like this is above this in this tier. I'm not doing that. However, if we were, I'd put Acolyte high C.
High C.
Like the drink. Next we have Skeleton Crew.
Hey, elephant carry, little elephant boy carry to that S.
Hell yeah, S, easy. No, I would put it in A though. Legitimately, it's just a delightful show. We might get a season 2. They haven't officially confirmed it, but I know that they're playing around with the idea of it. It's just delightful, just very Amblin films, very Spielberg, and it captures that magic, I think, really, really well. The characters are really fun. It's always a gamble when you're dealing with kid actors and the main characters being children, because they can be very annoying or just not great performers. But they had a really good cast here. I mean, sometimes they are annoying, but they're kids. It's like intentional. But yeah, I honestly I would put it in A. It's just a really fun show, and I would just highly recommend it. There's not too much to say about it. It's new. I don't want to say too much about it because it's new and I want people to watch it and I don't want to spoil it. It's also a show that, like, there's technically connections to The Mandalorian, but it's only like a background character. It's like you literally don't need like, again, this is a show you don't need to see anything else in order to enjoy this. There is some stuff that you need to know about the Star Wars universe, so it's not like Andor. We can like necessarily recommend it to someone who hasn't seen any Star Wars because of just some of the concepts that they're dealing with in the show. But it's just, yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I think it's at an A. I think I know it just came out, but I honestly don't see a ton of people talking about it, and I think it's really underrated. So yeah. Anyway, this is our that's it. This is our tier list. Let's run through it real quick just to recap. At F, we got the Book of Garbage Fett. That shit's trash. And we have The Rise of Skywalker, which is just more of a disappointment than anything. And in D, we have the Clone Wars film, which is just, it is what it is. Then we have Episode 2, surprising no one. And Episode 1, which is just boring, unfortunately. Also Jar Jar, but I don't know. I'm not like a Jar Jar apologist, but I don't hate him either. It's probably because we grew up with him, but I'm just like, he's just there for me, personally.
Yeah.
Then in C tier, we have Ahsoka, The Bad Batch, Solo, and The Acolyte. In B tier, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, The Mandalorian, Star Wars Rebels, and then The Last Jedi. In A tier, we have Skeleton Crew, The Force Awakens, The Clone Wars Show, Return of the Jedi, and Star Wars A New Hope. And in S tier, we have Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, Andor, Empire Strikes Back, and an amendment to the list, The Last Jedi. No, I'll put it back in B, but it deserves to go in S. Anyway, that's our tier list. Do you think... I think this is a solid list, other than The Last Jedi being too low.
Yeah, I think it's solid.
Yeah, I think, like, I feel bad for, like, a couple of them, like The Acolyte, but again, it's just, like... I can't, just because I'm an apologist for it, I can't inflate its rating as much as I low-key kind of want to. But yeah, that is the list. So let's move on. All right, Torn, what'd you watch this week? Or the past 2 weeks, I guess.
Well, this is something that you have been waiting for me to watch.
Yeah.
And I know you should be excited.
Yeah.
I have been watching Severance.
Let's go.
And that shit is fucking nuts.
It's fucking peak,
I know
bro.
So I'm gonna ask you a question before I get into what I think about the show.
Okay.
Are we going to, when season 2 is finished, do you want to talk about the show, or you want to wait until the show is over completely to talk about Severance and do an episode on that?
Well, I don't know when the show's gonna be fucking over, so I guess
well, I'm gonna say this right now. They're working on season 3.
They are, yeah.
So,
Uh,
I guess we'll just wait until the show's over to talk about it, or I mean, we could just do a season 2
as a whole, yeah, but we don't know if it ends on season 3. What if it lasts like 5 seasons? We're gonna make an episode in 20 years.
Yeah,
we'll talk. Let's just talk about the show after season 2.
All right, bet. But so far, the show is just absolutely phenomenal. There's so much to love from the show, from not only the cinematography and the camera work, but the set design and the score is what's kind of like it kind of puts it like above for me. The performances, everyone is doing a fantastic job. You know, from Adam Scott, from Britt Lower, from John Turturro, from what's the guy who plays, what's his name? Black Flip guy.
I don't remember the actor's name.
Oh my goodness!
But I know the character's name is Dylan.
Yes, Mr. Dylan. I'm looking him up right now. Zach Cherry,
the spider guy from YouTube.
Patricia Arquette, Tremel Tillman, like everyone is doing such a great job in this show. And what I also like about this show is that the lore is like this very, obviously the whole thing, what they're doing is like pretty cultish, but it's also like just like this very mysterious and like mythical religious aspect to it that is super fucking cool. I'm also just loving how everything is tying together, the foreshadowing of the dialogue and the usage of it throughout the series. Everything about the show is just so fun. I'm really glad that I dived into it when I could.
Consider yourself lucky. Imagine waiting 3 years after that cliffhanger from season 1, bro.
Yeah, no, that is crazy. I hope I don't have to wait that long for season 3, because I'm almost on season 2. I have 2 more episodes left until I catch up before the next episode this Friday. But my goodness, I just so much to love about this show, man. I'm really glad that I started it. And yeah, that's all I've been watching pretty much.
Bro's been watching Severance.
Yeah, I have been watching Severance. And that's pretty much it.
Torn, are you ready?
You want what?
Buckle the fuck up.
Oh my god.
I watched.
Do a speed run, please.
So much. All right, Torn. I watched Twin Peaks, the original series.
Yes.
Bro.
Yeah.
That shit's awesome. Twin Peaks is a very influential show for a lot of things. Fucking like Alan Wake wouldn't exist without Twin Peaks. Lost wouldn't exist without Twin Peaks. Severance wouldn't exist without Twin Peaks. Like, Twin Peaks is a very influential show, and a lot of those, as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this is very similar to this show and this movie and this and this. And the show is a lot. It's David Lynch, obviously, and it's very weird in David Lynch fashion, but it was also very funny, which I didn't expect. And diving deeper into the world and like behind the scenes stuff, I did just kind of go into it blind. It is meant to sort of be like the conglomerate of all of television from the late 80s, early 90s. It's a detective show, it's a true crime show, it's a soap opera, it's a sitcom. It's like all of these things combined into one. And plus you got the David Lynch fucking weirdo shit in there. But it was a really great show. I fucking adored Kyle MacLachlan's character. He's the main character in it. Special Agent Dale Cooper. He's just he's sort of like he actually reminds me a lot of like a tame version, and obviously more like a psychological, because of David Lynch and shit, version of Rob Lowe's character in Parks and Rec. Especially in the first season, or at least the first half of the first season. His arc is that he gets a lot more serious and about the work. But they're investigating the death of this girl, Laura Palmer, and the whole thing is very mystical and ethereal. There's like possessions and shit, and like there's a whole thing. I obviously can't get into the whole thing because it's a lot. But I also watched the Twin Peaks movie, which is a prequel to the show, and that was really great. It has a lot of answers while raising a lot of questions. Then I watched Twin Peaks: The Return, which a lot of people just consider season 3 of Twin Peaks, which came out in 2017, I believe. And I wish I liked it more. I was a little disappointed in it. It really like found itself towards the back end of the season. It's like 18 episodes long, but I think it takes too long to get where it needs to go. And I know David Lynch, I feel like, directs based on fucking vibes, and I 100% get that. And I understand. Well, I don't necessarily understand, but like I could see at least some of the messaging, and I do enjoy that. But it's sort of like, it reminds me of like music, where you could have a song that's like objectively, like arguably one of the best songs ever lyrically. It has like the lyrics in it are fucking phenomenal, but if it doesn't sound good, then like, why am I listening to it? It's like that. It's like okay, sure, like it looks good and the writing's good and stuff like that, but if I'm not having fun with it, or I'm being entertained in one way or another, then I'm kind of like, why are we here? And although I will say a lot of that does kind of play into what David Lynch is trying to do with the show, which again, I won't get into. There's a lot of stuff you can take away from the show. David Lynch is one of those guys where it's like he makes things purposely vague so that people can take their own ideas from it. But one thing that I do think is not necessarily up for debate, because he's talked about it in interviews and stuff, and one of the ideas that Twin Peaks handles that I personally fully agree with is the idea of explanation and closure in television and film. Especially nowadays, everything has to be explained. And I find that like really fucking annoying. It's like, well, what's the deal with this? And how does this work? And this is like, and a vast majority of the time, it doesn't fucking matter, because it's not the point. And a lot of the intrigue would be taken away if that stuff is explained, unless you're getting to like the end of like a show, and shit isn't explained. Then it's like, well, okay, well then I can understand that. But like, imagine Severance. Like imagine people getting mad about Severance because they don't explicitly state what they're doing and how they're doing it. Like if they explain that, a lot of that mystery is gone. And that's a lot of the messaging in Twin Peaks that I really enjoy. And David Lynch, I actually found out in the original series, he left after season 1. He did I think the first couple episodes of season 2 and the last couple episodes of season 2. But he left because they were, okay, here we go. So 80s television, right? 80s television, the way it worked was, if it was a mystery show, sort of like Law and Order, by the beginning of the show, they would set up a mystery. By the end of the episode, they would solve the mystery. And Twin Peaks introduced the idea of setting up a mystery that lasted an entire season, if not more. So because that was so new, by the end of season 1, people were like, what the fuck? We want to know what's happening. We want to know the answers to the mystery. And David Lynch was like, I don't want to give you that, because I want this to last longer so I can tell the story I want to tell. But the audience, and especially the studio, were very adamant and pushing heavily on David Lynch to wrap up the mystery. And funnily enough, I forgot if it was ABC or CBS, but the head of the network that was pushing for them to rush the ending was Bob Iger, which I think is fucking insane. But so they, because it's the studio and obviously all this is new, David Lynch didn't get his way, and by the middle of season 2, they wrap up the story. Now, David Lynch did come back to wrap up that part of the story, and it's incredible. So they executed, But the back half of season 2, David Lynch completely left, and he was completely hands off, and it really dives off a cliff. And the writers and stuff clearly have no idea what to do, and they're setting up stuff and trying to pay off stuff that doesn't really make sense. And it's weird for weird's sake, because they're like, oh, David Lynch is a weird guy, let's do weird stuff, but it doesn't land like the actual David Lynch stuff does. So, that's unfortunate. But then David Lynch with the third season came, and that was 100% him. But yeah, it was a really solid show. I would recommend it. I wouldn't say jump into it like now. Wait until you're in the mood for a fucking like David Lynch style thing, because it's a lot, and it's so fucking weird, but like in a great way. It's one of those things. I saw a Letterboxd review said about Twin Peaks. It said, I don't have to understand it to enjoy it. And that's pretty much where I'm at. Like, there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, okay, this is probably what this means, and this probably connects to this, and how this means this. But for the most part, I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm having a good time. That's kind of what the show is. But that's Twin Peaks. I also watched Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which you need to get on eventually. Phenomenal show. Obviously MCU adjacent, takes a lot of inspiration from the MCU, does its own thing with it. Got Norman Osborn. We got different takes on Norman, on Harry, while also staying true to a lot of its source material, especially with like Doc Ock and shit like that. It's just a really great show. It's also a lot darker than I anticipated, dealing with a lot of themes that I just didn't anticipate. The fact that the actor was worried that it was going to be woke is fucking bizarre, considering this is by far the wokest Spider-Man has ever been. And so that was really funny to me. And also the wokest Spider-Man has ever been. And also one of the, it's amazing the 180 people did once the show actually came out. People were shitting on it like crazy, like, oh, the animation's bad and shit like that, is going to be terrible. And then the show came out, and people are all like, hey, this is peak, actually. Like, people are, and I would personally agree, it's for now, because obviously a lot can change with the second season and a third season and so on, but it by the show's end, it could be up there, if not surpass Spectacular Spider-Man as the best Spider-Man cartoon, which is saying something. Josh Keaton is also in it as a very cool character. He isn't in it for that much, but once you know who it is, it's like, oh, this is actually really fucking cool. Because a lot of people are like, oh, because I think I don't know if it was announced, but it was talked about how Josh Keaton was in the cast, and people were like, well, why isn't he Spider-Man? The character he's playing, it makes a lot of sense. I think people are happy with it. But I will say, by the end, I was a little upset, not because of the way it ended or because of the quality, but because it's heavily reminiscent of something else. And I don't want to get into exactly what it is, because it would spoil it. But man, it's very close to this other thing. And I'm just like, God damn it. They just had me watch this thing again. But yeah, Torrin, I also watched Venom: The Last Dance.
Peak, right?
I mean, if that's what you want to call it.
Hey, look, man. A little someone on social media said that Sony does better with Spider-Man than Disney. So
you haven't seen Venom: The Last Dance?
I have not.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, great! Thank God, I don't want to buy anything.
Yeah. It's the best of the trilogy, but it's an extremely low bar, so it's not saying much. It's better than the Book of Boba Fett, but that's not saying much. I think in this movie, I think the best compliment that I can give it is that it finally, for the most part, got the balance and dynamic right between Eddie and Venom for this universe. I'm still not happy with the characterization of Venom, and I'm especially not happy with the characterization of Eddie. But I mean, for what this universe is, yeah, I mean, it's the best that they've done so far. It's also the one with the best heart. This movie compared to the first two, actually feels like a complete film in the sense that it actually has a second act. And I was like, wow, what a nice surprise. What a good change of pace. That it's actually structured like a fucking movie. But it does some fun stuff with the symbiotes. I think they were like, this is the last one, so we're gonna kind of go all out. The null shit is just a plot device. It literally means nothing. I was surprised that it actually ended relatively definitively in the terms that, like, I don't think we're gonna get a fourth Venom movie. We're definitely gonna get Venom again, but definitely not in this Venom with Tom Hardy and shit like that, which makes me very happy. But like, maybe it's because like I'm fucking exhausted with this universe and I'm just kind of like taking it how it is. So maybe because I've seen people say that like this is not as good as Let There Be Carnage, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's like if you love these movies, maybe that's how you feel, and if you fucking hate these movies, this is one of the better ones. I don't know, but this it was fine, which is the best these could be. These movies range from hot garbage to fine. So yeah, I watched Venom: Let There Be Carnage. I also watched the movie Here. What?
You said Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, yeah. I watched Venom: Last Dance. I think I gave it one. I gave it like a 3 out of 10. I don't know. Part of me wanted to give it lower, but I don't know. I was like, you know what? I'll be nice since this is the last one. I also watched the movie Here. Do you know what the movie Here is?
No.
The Robert Zemeckis, Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, not Forrest Gump. But it's the film that takes place in like one place and the camera doesn't move, and it like spans this like family's whole life. There's not too much to say about it, just because inherently what the movie is. But it's good. It's good. Robert Zemeckis recently it's very hit or miss. But I think this one was decent. It wasn't incredible. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10, but the good performances all around. Paul Bettany is in it doing an American accent, and it's really fucking weird. I can't tell if he's just he's bad at doing an American accent, or I'm just so used to hearing him normally that it's just weird hearing an American accent coming out of his face. I don't know which it is, but he plays it's weird because he plays Tom Hanks' dad, and I'm like, this is weird. And this is also the movie where they're de-aging Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, and the technology is that like they're de-aging them in like real time. So I don't really know how that works. Although I imagine that there's still some post stuff going on. I doubt it's all 100% in camera. But it's weird because they don't do anything to the voice. So it's like old Tom Hanks coming out of the face of young Tom Hanks. So it's a little jarring. And there's one part where Tom Hanks has to like run around, and I'm like, that's an old man run. That's an old man run. And this is someone who's supposed to be in their early 20s. But it was fun. I also watched Long Legs.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. I mean, it finally came on a streaming service. I forgot which one it was. Peacock, maybe? I don't fucking remember. Point is, it was really good. I wanted a little bit more out of it. I don't know if it's because I wanted it to be longer, but I feel like the ending was a bit abrupt. But outside of that...
Yeah, I can understand that.
Outside of that, fucking fantastic. Great performances all around. Great world building. Fucking ridiculous performance from Nicolas Cage. Damn near unrecognizable performance from Nicolas Cage. The only part where I was like, oh yeah, that's Nicolas Cage, was towards the end, where he sort of gets a bit more serious and I can hear Nicolas Cage coming out of it. But yeah, for the most part, fucking incredible from Nicolas Cage, and everyone else was doing a great job. I just I don't really want to spoil it, but highly recommend. As someone who doesn't fuck with horror movies, this is one of the good ones.
You
It's
should
also
watch The Monkey.
No.
Why not? Watch The Monkey.
No.
Why?
No, I don't want to.
Why? It has Tatiana Maslany in it.
I know it has Tatiana Maslany, but unlike Long Legs, where I was like, ooh, this could be fun. The Monkey, I'm just like, I don't know.
The Monkey, really, bro. It's The Monkey. The Monkey. Watch The Monkey.
I refuse.
You will like The Monkey. I think you'll like it better than...
Then what?
You'll like it better than Long Legs.
Ooh, I don't know about that one, Chief.
bro. Oh my, watch the shit.
Conceptually, I think I like long legs more. I mean, I've
You wouldn't know.
I've listened
You
to
wouldn't.
I do know. I've listened to reviews of the monkey. I know it's funny and stuff.
Bro,
I get it.
Watch the monkey.
No, maybe, I don't know. I didn't. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna be short or long, but I started and I uninstalled.
Oh, it's gonna be long.
No, it's not. I started and uninstalled Lies of P. You know the game Lies of P?
I do know Liza P. Yes.
So
Liza PP.
yes, Lies of PP. It's a Souls-like, and I'm not necessarily a fan of Souls-like games. However, admittedly, I have never played a Souls game or a Souls-like. I mean, I've played games that have Souls-like elements in it, but I've never played like a straight-up Souls-like. And I was like, okay, you know what? Apparently, Lies of P is a good like entry-level. It's like not as difficult as a FromSoft Souls game, but it's still very much like has like the bones of a Souls like. So I was like, okay, I'll play this, and I've seen gameplay of it, and it's pretty fucking similar. So I was like, yeah, I'll play it. And honestly, I was having a great. I was having a pretty good time. I was like, okay, I understand the appeal. However, it got to a point where I was getting extremely frustrated, not necessarily because of the combat or the bosses. The fighting feels fucking great. It genuinely feels awesome. My problem with these games isn't the bosses, because I actually enjoy like learning the bosses and figuring out like when to strike and when to block and when to dodge and stuff like that. That's great. All that awesome. What I fucking hate is getting later into the game where they're less forgiving. I actually don't know how far into the game I got because I didn't fucking finish it. But getting to a boss, dying, and then having to run all the way back, go through a bunch of bullshit just to get back to the boss, I can't fucking stand it. And in these games, because I've seen playthroughs of Dark Souls 1 through 3, I've seen playthroughs of like Elden Ring and stuff. These games aren't built for like parkour and shit, and yet they have parkour in them. They'll have like fucking like beams that you have to like walk and balance on. Motherfucker, this game isn't built for that. So you get like fucking, you get like a ball thrown at you, and you fall off and you fucking die. You lose all your fucking levels and shit, and you die, and you have to go all the way back, and then you get to the boss, and you die, and you have to do it all over again. You have to fight enemies, and some enemies you can't fucking avoid. So you take damage, and sometimes you have to heal, and so now you don't have you have one or two less heals for the boss that if it just spawns you next to the boss. Just add more checkpoints. I fucking hate it. I fucking hate that aspect of this game. I can't fucking do it. Not for me. I was watching Jev, because he's a big fan of these games, and he was talking about how like if there was a game where it was just a hallway and it was just boss into the next boss into the next boss, that I'm interested in. Because if I could just like beat a boss, like level up, and then go to the next boss and like just go and like try to learn the boss so I can beat the boss, I'm fucking into that. That sounds great. But having to go through a bunch of bullshit just to get to the part I enjoy, I'm not fucking with. I don't. Unfortunately, these games are just not for me. But at least I gave it a fair shot. And it sucks.
I mean, I was gonna say like that's all you can do, bro. I mean, there's some games out there that you're just not gonna like. You know, for me, one of them's gonna be Alan Wake. You know,
hey man, you haven't played Alan Wake 2?
Yeah, because I don't have it.
You also haven't played Control.
I deleted it to make space,
bro. Actually, I think you really after seeing Severance. There's a lot of Severance in Control, although Control came out first. But
okay, you know what? I might have to hop on Control then. he just
the main character, bro, a lot like Heliar.
Oh well, yeah. Hey, wrap this shit up quick so I can put Control.
No, but what's really unfortunate about Liza P is that I fucking love the concept. It's Pinocchio. I fucking love the aesthetic. It's like I want to enjoy it so bad, and also because I know a lot of people really enjoy these types of games, and there's elements of these games that I do enjoy that I know I would enjoy, but I can't with some of the fucking bullshit. I can't do it. But yeah, that's all I've watched and played and stuff. So Torin, is that the show?
That is the show.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to the Avengers podcast. We're at Avengenerds on Twitter and Blue Sky. That's AVENGE nerds. All one word. If you want to follow either one of us, you can reach me at it's Zenith on Blue Sky. Where can they reach you?
At Torrentino on Blue Sky.
Hell yeah. We also have a Discord if you'd like to join the conversation there. Those will be linked in the show notes. You can also check out our link tree for any additional links you may be interested in. You can also review the show in-app on Apple Podcasts. If you could leave 5 stars in a review, it would really help us out. Thanks again for listening to Avengers Podcast. We'll see you next week.
Later.